guys, welcome back. Now today, I'm going to be talking about 5 potential risers in the 2019 NHL Draft. Now there's a lot of quality prospects throughout the NHL Draft, but which 5 prospects do I see rising the most in the 2019 NHL Draft? Watch till the end to find out. We're going to jump straight into it, and at number 5, I have Jayden Struble. He's a defenseman at age 17, 6 foot, 194 pounds, American-born prospect. He was ranked 63rd overall by Bob McKenzie in his final draft rankings. I have him ranked 61st overall among skaters in the entry draft. And when it comes to Struble, he's a very interesting prospect and could be one of the main guys that rises in this 2019 NHL Draft. This season in the United States High School Prep League, he ended up playing 28 games, getting 10 goals, 30 assists for 40 points. When it comes to those numbers, they're pretty great, especially for defensemen. You usually don't see a lot of highly ranked guys coming for the United States High School League, but Struble's been able to make a name for himself while also putting up the points to boot. Struble has a lot of different attributes that project him to be an offensive defenseman in the NHL someday. He's a pretty flashy player, but he makes the right plays too. He has a lot of great skating abilities, his puck handling is very good for a defensive prospect, and Struble has the makeup and the potential to become a very solid top 4 defenseman in the NHL someday. I think he can be that. That's why I have him ranked so high, but the potential with Struble is pretty high, and I think a lot of NHL teams are starting to see that. Again, he was ranked 60, I think it was, he was ranked 63rd by Bob McKenzie. Pretty highly ranked for a guy, again, in the high school prep league, but he definitely is worth a pick there, especially in the second round. Even though I have him ranked at number 61, I could see him rising a lot more than that. I could see him being an early second round pick that nobody really knows too much about. When it comes to Struble, I really found out about him like a month ago. He's not this well-known prospect that has had a ton of hype around him, but he still is a very talented prospect with a lot of potential. And honestly, if he gets picked in the second round, early in the second round, I will be a little bit hesitant towards it, but I wouldn't exactly be surprised. Going on to the 4th potential riser in the 2019 NHL Draft, I have Philip Broberg. Now he's a defenseman at age 17, 6'3", 203 pounds, Swedish-born prospect. He was ranked 15th by Bob McKenzie. I have him ranked 28th in my draft rankings. But when it comes to Broberg, he is such a polarizing prospect, such an interesting prospect, and could go anywhere in this NHL Draft. 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points. Not the greatest number for a draft-eligible defenseman, but still, even with that, Broberg has pretty solid potential. He's a fantastic skater, arguably the best skating defenseman in this draft, has some decent physical ability, but in my opinion, I don't think he really proves anything else. I'm not really too high on him, to be honest. I don't think he's a first-round prospect, but just barely one. There are a bunch of NHL teams that are very, very high on him, and a lot of teams have the capabilities to take a guy like that, potentially in the top 10 and in the top 15. He really is a gigantic wild card in this NHL draft because, again, I could see him being a late first-round pick if people on teams don't really believe in his overall abilities, but I can also see a team taking a big risk on him because of his skating abilities and the potential that he has. When it comes to Philip Broberg, the highest that he has been linked towards is 8th overall with the Edmonton Oilers. They're a team that has a lot of potential to pick him at number 8, even if I personally don't agree with it whatsoever. There also is some other teams in that top 15 that could definitely take a guy like that. You've got teams like Anaheim, Vancouver, Florida, Arizona, potentially the Montreal Canadiens if he goes down that far. But when it comes to Philip Broberg, I don't know if he's a slam dunk to go top 15, but he is certainly very interesting and could potentially go there. When it comes to, again, Bob McKenzie's ranking, he has him at the 15th spot, which Bob McKenzie is usually pretty accurate, so I expect him to go into the top 15, again, even if I don't agree with it. Going on to my 3rd potential riser in the 2019 NHL Draft, I have Brayden Tracey. He's a left winger at age 18, 6 foot, 176 pounds, Canadian-born prospect. He was recently pegged as the 36th best prospect in the draft by Bob McKenzie in his latest draft rankings. I, coincidentally enough, had him at number 36 in my rankings as well, but when it comes to Brayden Tracey, right now he's pegged as an early second round pick, but don't be surprised if he ends up as a first round pick. Now with the Moose Jaw Warriors of the WHL this season, Brayden Tracey ended up playing 66 games, getting 36 goals, 45 assists for 81 points. The most of any rookie in the WHL and over guys like Payne Krebs, Kirby Dach when it comes to points. He certainly had a very good season, albeit with a very solid team as well, but Brayden Tracey is a very interesting prospect that, again, I think could go in maybe the mid to late first round if a team definitely banks on that risk. When it comes to where I see Brayden Tracey getting picked, picked. I see him going along the 23 to 31 range. I don't know if he's going to be a mid-first round pick, though that wouldn't exactly surprise me too much. The NHL draft is always crazy. But when it comes to Brayden Tracey, while I don't think he should be a late first round pick, I think he should be an early second round pick. I will not be surprised one bit if he ends up being a first round pick in the end, because a lot of the teams could definitely use the services and the skill that he provides. There's 5 teams in the 20 to 31 range who I think could definitely use and pick Brayden Tracey with their first round pick. The first team being the New York Islanders, second team being the Washington Capitals, third team being the Tampa Bay Lightning, fourth team being Anaheim with their 29th pick, and last but not least the Buffalo Sabres with their 31st pick. And again, just like a lot of other prospects on this list, Brayden Tracey is a huge wild card. Again, I could see him going in the mid-first round, or I could see him going in the mid-second round. He really has a lot of different potential destinations, and it's hard to really pinpoint where he might go in this draft. Now again, Bob McKenzie has him at 36, which is usually pretty accurate. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up going in the second round completely, but again, if he goes in the first round, I think there are some decent candidates that he could definitely go on and definitely improve with. The main team I think could definitely work with him especially, I think, is the Buffalo Sabres. I think it's a pretty solid fit there, and Brayden Tracey, again, having that winning culture along with Moose Jaw could directly translate into the Buffalo Sabres and could help them quite a bit. Going on to my second potential riser in the 2019 NHL Draft, I have Spencer Knight. He's a goaltending prospect at age 18, 6'3", 198 pounds, American-born prospect, and he was recently just pegged as the 12th best prospect in the 2019 NHL Draft. Not best goaltending prospect, the best prospect overall, and it shows how much hype that Spencer Knight has behind him. Now, I personally have him number 35. I don't think Spencer Knight is special enough to be picked in the first round compared to some other prospects, forward and defensemen, in the late first round, but a lot of different teams have a lot of different eyes on him, and the hype for him is really real. Now in the USDP this season, Spencer Knight ended up playing 33 games, getting a 2.36 goals against average and a .913 save percentage. Really did not have the greatest USDP season until the last couple of months where he really got hot, but at the first few months he was kind of icy cold. But in the U18 World Juniors, he also kind of redeemed himself, having a great tournament with Team USA. Ended up playing 6 games, getting a 1.1 or 5.1 goals against average and a .936 save percentage. So we had some great stats in the World Juniors, not as much in the USDP, but the potential for Spencer Knight is definitely there, and a lot of different teams could definitely use that goaltending prospect of the future. With the recent goal crisis around the NHL, where so many goals are getting scored, so many goaltenders are falling down and crumbling, a lot of different NHL teams are looking for a long-term answer in goal, and Spencer Knight, I think, is the best prospect goaltending-wise in this draft for sure, and a lot of different teams kind of need that position. Again, Spencer Knight being at number 12, he has a lot of potential to become a very good NHL starter, and a lot of teams are desperate for that kind of answer. Now again, I think he could go all over the place, so there's a lot of different NHL teams that need him. I think he could go as high as number 7 to Buffalo Sabres, a team that kind of needs consistent goaltending in net for the next few years. You also got some teams like Minnesota, the Florida Panthers, Colorado Avalanche, Vegas Golden Knights, the Ottawa Senators potentially in that top 25 that need goaltending and need it badly. And again, Spencer Knight would be the guy to provide that if you do develop him right. If I have to predict any team to take Spencer Knight with their first round pick, I'm going to say the Florida Panthers. They're kind of a crazy team right now. They're trying out some weird stuff, and they need some goaltending in the future. James Reimer, Roberto Luongo, that is not going to cut it. So if I'm going to predict any team to take him, I would say the Florida Panthers at number 13. Again, they are crazy, and taking him at number 13 with Florida wouldn't surprise me. Now, on to my number 1 potential riser in the 2019 NHL Draft. I have Philip Tomasino. He's a center at age 17, 6 foot, 181 pounds, Canadian-born prospect. He was pegged as the 22nd best prospect in the draft by Bob McKenzie. I personally had him at number 20. And Philip Tomasino, there's some other wild cards on this list to where they might go, but Philip Tomasino, to me, is the biggest one. Now, in the OHL this season with the Niagara Ice Dogs, he ended up playing 67 games, getting 34 goals, 38 assists for 72 points. In the U18 World Juniors with Team Canada, he ended up playing 6 games, getting 5 points as well, having a pretty solid tournament. I personally like Tomasino quite a bit. He was on a very good Niagara team, had some pretty solid teammates, but his skill was able to shine, and he was able to get a pretty big spotlight, even though the amazing teammates that he had every single game. When it comes to Tomasino, though, he's such an interesting prospect because he has so much potential, and I think a lot of NHL teams know that and want that. About a couple of months ago, Philip Tomasino, I think, was ranked by a lot of people as an early second-round prospect. He wasn't looked at this mid to late first-round pick whatsoever in a lot of different people's mock drafts. Me, Personally, I really didn't have him as the first round pick until about 2 months ago the same way. And Philip Tomasino has been a pretty big consistent riser throughout the whole season. But this NHL draft will definitely secure that position. When it comes to Philip Tomasino, again, I think he could go anywhere in this draft, as high as maybe the top 10, all the way down to the late first round. There's a lot of NHL teams in need of a skilled center. That's not surprising whatsoever, and Philip Tomasino can fill that hole. Teams like Anaheim at number 9, teams like Philadelphia at number 11, Minnesota at number 12, also Arizona at 14. You got maybe Colorado at 16 if they don't take a center at number 4. You got teams like Vegas, Dallas, Ottawa, Pittsburgh. A lot of different NHL teams that, again, need that next generation of skilled centers, and Philip Tomasino, I think, is a great pick to have at that point. I don't think he's worth a 9th or 11th, 12th overall pick, but if he does go there, again, the potential is sky high with him that I wouldn't exactly be against it. I think Philip Tomasino is almost a slam dunk top 20 pick. I don't think he'll go outside the top 20. I don't think he should go outside the top 20. But when it comes to Philip Tomasino, again, I personally am a pretty big fan of him. But I think a lot of different NHL teams are. Again, having that skilled center, that is a very good commodity for a lot of different NHL teams. And don't be surprised if he even goes as high as the top 10 in the 2019 NHL draft. But of course, with this video, I need to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. So let me know, what do you think about my 5 potential risers in the 2019 NHL draft? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let me know. And of course, the question on to you, who do you think rises the most in the 2019 NHL draft? But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you can click on this card right here to watch my top 5 riskiest picks in the 2019 NHL draft. But that'll be it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on my 5 potential risers and who you think rises the most in the 2019 NHL draft. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.